How's it going, guys? This is DJ TrippleJ. Welcome to the Wildcat Garage. And we'll do a little shop talk. I'm going to show you some cars and show you some of the customs I've been working on. Do little modifications. I think the last time I did a video for you guys, we were working on this guy here, the GTO 4 Monero. Just the Pontiac. Well, I got her dialed in. It's she's gonna be really cool. Well, I'll show it to you in a little bit here. Let me get the camera set up, and I guess we'll go on modifications, and we'll talk a little bit about maybe some tricks, maybe stuff you already know. But I'll go over the Blackfire tires again, some of the advantages and how to get them on. All right, let's look at the GTO again. Woohoo! All right, it's got pretty good wheel spin, and I got the weight in there, and I distribute it in such a way where it's well balanced. Okay, the rear end, I use that. I call it a gasket. You could call it a grommet. You could call it a washer. It's not really rubber, but for all intents and purposes, we'll just call it rubber. A very hard rubber, kind of like those old bicycle tires that didn't have air in them. A little softer than that maybe. But that gave me the lift that I needed, and I can adjust it with the rear screw, and got the clearance for the Blackfires. That's right, we got the clearance. Okay, and the weather's supposed to be good, and so hopefully I'll be able to set the track up tomorrow. And I'm going to run some of these NASCARs that I have to finish up, and definitely going to run this guy. I'm going to do a bunch of Holdens, and a lot of my custom just for the fun of it. I sent down a bunch of cars to Mount Western Raceway, did a hot car track, and the vans, and I didn't send any NASCARs yet. I'm going to do another load. This is a 69 Camaro. It was a Johnny Lightning and it had rubber wheels on it, and it sucked. And put some faster nevers on it, and I'm not quite finished with this yet. I don't even have the back screw in. I'm going to put a lift on here. I'm going to do that on this rear stud. I'll use some more of that rubber type material to give me a little bit of lift, so I can put Blackfires on this. And one of these days there'll be a Camaro tournament or muscle car tournament where this guy could be a part of that. Hopefully it'll be fast. I want to test him out tomorrow. Another one I did, another Johnny Lightning. This guy had rubber wheels, and I put some wheels off a different Johnny Lightning. Actually, this was off the a GTO Monero that was loose, and I turned him into a custom and put faster never wheels on him. But I took his old wheels off, put them on this just for the heck of it, I can always change them. I've got the screws on here. These wheels aren't too bad. These are Johnny Lightning wheels. They're nickel-plated axles. The tires, well, the wheels themselves, they have rails on them. This little skinny part right here makes contact with the track. And one Blackfire. Just doing one Blackfire in this guy. But that's pretty cool. There's no weight added yet to either one of those Camaros that I showed you, but they're still in their developmental phases. I might just leave them stock weight because these are pretty heavy. They're like 51 grams or something like that. But, so that was cool. My first Holden that I modified and tore apart, I was messing around with the grill trying to give him a paint job, and my hand slipped, and next thing you know, I've got a hood full of flames. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I don't know. For a hand flame job with a Sharpie, it didn't turn out that bad. And the question is it still fast? The last thing I put a paint job on, which was a tail dragger, I put a little flames on him, and that thing goes like a slug now. I don't know what I did, but I've got to work on that some. I'm working on another tail dragger too. because I'd like to get a bunch of tail draggers on the track. I think they'd be pretty fun watching those tanks go down the track, just beat each other up. This one here is basically the same one. I put this tape on here to protect the tampos, because when you're handling these things and wrenching on them, you wear the tampo off. I don't have any glass in there now. But this guy here, I was just getting the rear end lift dialed in, and I snapped off this stupid freaking back end. I mean, luckily I've got more of these, but I already got the weight in, you know, and I don't want to have to take it all apart again, but it is what it is. But if you can see back in here, this is a pretty big piece of that. It's basically tubing. That's what I'm using for this, and some kind of automotive tubing. I forget. I got it at Craig and O'Reilly, and it's laying around and does a great job. I've used Blackfire tires too, ones that were not even, and they would make for a wobbly ride. Well, you know, they're not quite rigid enough, I don't think. But this here, well, I could fix it. I don't know. I could probably glue it, but I think I'm just going to replace the chassis. But these tail draggers are cool. You get them right where they, well, you take them apart and put some Blackfires on the back end, and you'll get enough clearance for them to roll down the track, and you don't have to, you know, gamble with bending the chassis, because you got to make two bends. You got to bend it right here in a downward fashion. It's good to put it in a vise, and then I just use some pliers and just make sure I'm dead nuts even, straight with it. Bend it down, and then you have to bend this back part, because this drags on the track when it's when you make that angle, and so you got to bend it up, and you got to be really careful. And you know, I've tried heating this stuff up, and you know, this metal's brittle, and so you got to be real easy when you torque on it, especially when there's a hole drilled through it already for a rivet. Well, this is the second one I broke off. This is the first one I broke off with a bare metal chassis, which is, this tends to be a little more friendly to work with, you could say. The painted chassis, they tend to be that very grainy pot metal type material, I call it. I mean, it's, you know, you try to manipulate it all and it just usually snaps. It's just garbage. So anyway, that's that. But tail draggers they're a fun mod, and I mean, they're tough on the track. I mean, the smaller wheels, I haven't adventured out to maybe increase the wheel size. In the fronts, it's really, I mean, there's room for it, but finding an axle with this sort of width in between the inner parts of the wheels, you know, it's pretty hard. You know, you got the Rivieras, and there's Impalas and some of the lowriders, but you know, then finding the, you know, if you want to get some nickel plated axles, you know, it's just, you're limited. So, but fortunately with these tail draggers, they're pretty fast. I mean, this is a pretty good wheel spin. That's just the stock axles. Did a little bit of you know, I dusted them with some graphite just for the heck of it, just to see if it was worth to take it any further, or if I was going to pull these wheels and axles off and put something else on. I do have a I think it's called an Evil Twin with FTEs that I could use, but I'm kind of saving it, you know, to the point where I know the build's going to go well. Because like this one here, I'd have been really ticked off if I would have had FTEs on here and went to that trouble, then break the back end off. So anyway, that's that. NASCARs. Okay, you guys seen this one? This has got the spring-loaded suspension. I use those oh shit, tape measure fell. See that? There's two springs. I took them from a fountain pen, basically, you know, a ballpoint pen, where you click it and it retracts back up into the pin body. Well, that's all you need. And this is not really for suspension, really. It's not. I mean, it does work a little bit, but it's pretty rigid. These cars aren't that heavy. So I question whether it has any validity at all, or valid, I can't even speak. But it does give you adjustability in the rear end, so I can tighten it up if I want, or loosen it, to make sure I have clearance for the Blackfires on here. So This is a good build. This is going down. This is gonna be this will be in our NASCAR tournament. Okay, I found a car with a beer logo on it. Cool. This is a Revell, and I think it's 50 grams. Yeah, I wrote it down on there. And it's basically a filler. Cars need drivers. I don't think Rusty Wallace would want to drive this, but I think it's fast. I haven't tested it yet. I want to test it tomorrow. But I've never built a Revell before, and it's a model. It's really not designed to race. I don't know how it's going to be. It's got a plastic chassis, but it took weight pretty well. Let's see how it goes. Should be a good car. And then now on a serious note, here's a Hot Wheel, and this is one of the premium NASCARs. And this one here, I achieved lift by using that same rubber gasket or washer technique. And you can see there's a little bit of lift right here. And that's enough to give me clearance. I should have polished these. Just because they're nickel plated doesn't mean they don't need to be polished. I mean, if you got the axle out and exposed where you can polish it, you have no excuse if it doesn't roll well, because you polish these up and they will spin forever. And I just realized that a couple days ago, and I didn't polish these. So, but this one's going to be pretty fast. He's going to get tested tomorrow too. I only put one Blackfire on the back of this one. I'm testing a theory out in regards to resistance, on the track and friction. And the only friction on here really is the material for the Blackfire tire, that also gives us the grip. And so, if you can minimize that surface, you have two tires, you do get better handling, but this is going to be crazy going down the track. I've raced them with just one tire, and the Blackfire Ford that you guys saw race for Road Warriors season 2, that doesn't count. That had Sizzler tires. That's all the wrong. That's rubber. That was real rubber. Those things rot and they're too sticky. I mean, I kind of hated that thing because when it went down the track, you could hear it squeak. I mean, it was kind of cool, but it squeaked. So it was annoying. These don't do that. They will occasionally, but they're usually hard into a corner when you hear it, and it's kind of cool. So this is going to be an interesting test to see. And we'll just kind of blow through it here. This guy's new, Cat. He's a Hot Wheel. Got a plastic base. Got him up to 52 grams. Our limit is 65. Got some fast and ever wheels. I went for one Blackfire tire, and this one here is a little more narrow than most Blackfire tires. I was able to. I put it on a cruddy set of wheels, and I put some sandpaper down on a table, taped it down, and just kind of gently sanded the edges off, because you really can't cut this stuff straight. It's very hard to cut straight. I've only been able to achieve that by using a Dremel tool with a diamond saw blade. And I think I've shown you on a previous video. I don't know if I have it out. Easy to find to show you. Well, so much for that. But you can manipulate the width, and if you go too skinny, it doesn't work, because they have to be smooth. I mean, you could get it to work, possibly. I just haven't had any luck. I still have to glue this on. I just apply the glue right along the edges, and I take an X-Acto blade and hold the wheel steady and just kind of scrape the glue off and wipe it. And then, because I just want a bead, it doesn't take much to keep these tires on, but you want to put an even amount, or you're going to have an imbalance, and it's going to wobble. You're going to have a wobbly ride, and we don't want that. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. This one's going to be pretty fast, I think. And here's one I shouldn't have opened. This was whenever a car comes with a plastic case and it's screwed down, into the case, probably that should be your first clue not to open it. The rivet holes were also mounting screw holes, and it was a pain. Anyway, I fixed this, I think, and I'm going to be putting this one together. This has no weight in it, and I think he's going to get a couple tires. I'm not sure. See, for tires, you want to be look at the chassis. See the gap here? I cut that out. You can see the other one's square, and this one. Can you see the difference? Anyway, this is only going to have this is going to be a one tire car, so I only cut out one side. And the interiors, you know, they have this crap in the way. I just put these are adhesive foam pads. They also work to give you a little bit of lift. I'm experimenting with that. And beneath this, I've got a piece of tin foil that I put over the axle when I glued it down, and I took a straight pin, and poked a bunch of holes into it so the glue could seep out. And so it makes more of I can't explain it, but it gives you a greater surface area to keep the stupid wheels from popping off in the impact. At least that's my theory. And I jumped the gun. I didn't trim the chassis yet, so I'm gonna have to do that. Ouch. My dog tried to come in. I'd let him in here, but he knocks shit over and it pisses me off. Yeah, so this is going to be one heck of a project. Now, with the interiors of these things, as you can see right here, it's uneven. That has to be shaved. And then, you know, for the Blackfires, you can get enough lift, but it's too much lift. You'll have a big gap in the back there, and you don't want that. You just want a subtle gap, you know, kind of like that. So you get the clearance. And you have to trim the sides here with a, you know, I get aggressive sometimes. I'll use a pair of tin snips. These bad boys here are some Kleins, and these will chew through just about anything but a bolt. And so with this, you just take like a box cutter or a razor blade, and you got to be really careful not to cut yourself, which I've done a bunch of times. And I just hack all this stuff off. Try to keep the rear dash, you know, intact. But this all comes up, and you pull these to the side, and you trim them up. So the only clearance issues you have to contend with are the fenders. So that's usually my last step. I get this dialed in with the interior. Now, I've got lift here now with that rubber pad. You can see that. And but I still have issues with this plastic crap in the way. So I'm going to hack that away and reassemble the thing, and you guys know. That's all there is to it. Oh, got another one. Oh, here you go. You can kind of see. This guy here is going to... I was thinking about maybe 2 tires. Looks like 1. And... oops. You can see how I hacked the interior. This used to cover the wheels. And I hogged all this out in here. I mean, it looks crappy, but, you know, when it's all put together, you don't see it. And the car looks, you know, pretty stock when it's all put together, even though I butchered the rear of the interior. And yeah, I haven't put any lift in here yet. And these aren't the actual wheels that are going to go on the back. These are too wide. But if I have to, I'll use them. I'll glue some spacers in here, some Teflon bushings. I'll cut them in half, or you can call them washers, whatever you want to call them. Glue them to the side. Put a little notch in the belly of it, you know, for the axle to fit in. And you got to line them up just perfectly, or else you're going to have your axles are going to be uneven, which I've done before. But it can work to your favor if you do that. You can just put one BlackFire tire on the low side if you want, or you can put it on the high side. But either way, it gives you different handling characteristics, which is pretty cool. So there's going to be a bunch of different ideas, and I'm going to say technologies just because it sounds good. Racing technologies will be applied, And I'm going to be demonstrating that my next test on the track with these various NASCARs. And if I remember, I'll let you know what I did to this one. This one is still not, it's still yet to be determined exactly what I'm going to do with it, but it's going to require a driver. That's not the car. I mean, this is the one I want to drive this one. Or number 10. This is a Thunderbird. Number 10 was my football number in high school. And I was quarterback and wide receiver. Kickoff returner. Yeah, like number 10. And this guy, Ricky Rudd, I guess, was the actual driver, but it's going to be DJ TrippleJ and the number 10 Tide Thunderbird. BlackFire Tires, faster than ever wheels. Look out, 65 grams exactly. I don't know how I did that, but it happened. Oh, and then we get into the less exciting cars. For those of you that got saddled with racing champions, God, these things are pieces of junk. Well, actually, not so much. However, this car came with the stock wheels. If the axles weren't so cruddy and I couldn't buff them out to make them fast, the wheels on there would work. They're the same hardness as a regular Hot Wheel wheel, that actually rolls. So it was close. I almost, left the stock wheels on there, but then I decided I really like the Haviland Ford, man. It's going to look badass with faster than ever's on this black. Look at that shit. It's cool. This car's not going to be that great, but it'll look good on the track, filler. And I'll probably be able to get him up to like 50, maybe 55 grams at the most, but, that's what I'm shooting for. I mean, I'm sending probably 10 NASCARs down, and I'm not going to intentionally make them slow. Just some are going to be faster than others, and that just is what it is. Now, my wife's uncle Frank, let's see, what is he calling his race team? It's like Flower Power Hippie. I don't know. It's cool though. Grateful Dead, Jerry Gar. I don't know. He's an older dude. He's older than me even, which is hard to do. Yeah. But this is his car. It's what the hell's his name now? Now I just drew a blank. I was gonna say Jimmy Johnson. This is not Jimmy Johnson. This is not Mark Martin. This is oh man. He's a good driver too. He's like, I'm a fool. Drew a blank. Yeah. This is gonna be a good car. These aren't gonna be the wheels in the back. I think I'm gonna use the same size, but I don't really want to mess with his tampos on here, but I am gonna have to shave this rear fender down some. And the interior on these things are just, look at the piece of shit. Oh man. I'll show you. Look, the axles they just sit in here. Well, these rear wheels don't fit. I just did it for looks. He was asking me about, how's my car doing? So I had to show him something. It's doing like crap, Uncle. But, yeah, so here's the fronts. They just lay in there. So I'm going to probably see, and then the body, in the front of the body, it's got these two supports that are supposed to press the axles down. But once you manipulate you create a lift for, like, for instance, Blackfire Tires, this stuff goes out the window, so you have to make provisions for that because there's nothing to hold the wheels down. So, excuse me, obviously, I'm just going to glue them. I'm going to glue them down, and I noticed these holes here. That's kind of cool. I could put a piece of spring steel over there, like matchboxes have. Some of them do. They have spring steel, and it's attached to the center of the chassis, and it just holds the axle in place. Plus, it gives them a little bit of a suspension, which is really kind of cool. I did that with the rear end of my black 69 GTO. I call it the Crow. It's one of these. I've been doing a lot of builds of these, the Judge and this one, and because unfortunately, in that storm disaster where the tree fell on our Hot Wheels shed and a bunch of cars got wet and ruined, all my GTOs, they all got fried. All the packaging was ruined. There was mold on them and stuff. So it was either throw them away or clean them up and modify them. So there you have it. And thank goodness they're fast. They are fast. Okay, so back to this. This is a racing champion. They're not so bad. They're just really light, and there's not a lot of play. You know, if you're trying to save the interior for the look of the car, I mean, we've been trying to do that. I mean, some of us anyway. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to cut out some of this interior to get some weight in it, and then you have to balance it. And it looks like the car, you know, I could put it in there, but it's going to be all jacked up. This isn't going to be done for tomorrow, I don't think. I might have a rolling chassis for tomorrow, but yeah, we'll see. So that's it for the NASCARs for now. Let's see, this Holden. Yeah, I've got him all tapped. Did a little work on the interior. And I think I'm going to roll him down the track. He has no weight. I'm going to roll him down the track just bald and naked with these newly installed faster than ever wheels. And just see how it goes. But I'm definitely going to put tires on it. So that means I'm going to have to cut out the chassis a little bit. Probably file it down here. This isn't really getting away too much. If you do it just right and you isolate your axles so you don't get a lot of travel, you know, with the wheels inside the fender wells, you won't get any rub. Because, you know, the thing of it is, if one of your BlackFire tires catches on something, you know, part of the body or chassis or whatever, I mean, it's like somebody pulled a freaking e-brake. And, you know, she's going to lock up and flip or, you know, or just come to a stop, which happens. And, you know, the only way to, you know, find out these things is by just doing a lot of testing and building a lot of cars and throwing a bunch of tires on there and just see what happens. And fortunately, I've done that. And when you guys, you know, take that journey, put Blackfires in some of your mods to get that, you know, advantage on the track, especially the open track. I have, you know, orange track and drag strips. I don't really think there's any advantage. You know, it's, you know, it could be a disadvantage. I mean, you could make the argument that, well, they'll track better down the center of the track with the tires, but you know, the diminishing level of speed is really, you can't tell. I mean, I've raced exactly the same cars together, side by side, you know, one with tires, one without, and you know, down the straightaway, it was really close. I mean, the car without tires won, you know, I think 3 out of 5, but I mean, we're talking just a, you know, a fender, a bumper in difference. And the Blackfire car won, you know, a couple races, so hey, it's negligible. In my opinion, you know, I only like to race on fat track because I just think it looks cool. I mean, dragging is cool too. I mean, I used to do that, but when I was a kid, that's all I had was just that straight track. I mean, yeah, I had 4 lanes of it. It was pretty bitchin'. And, you know, 4 cars going at one time. I mean, that was cool. That was before the 6-lane thing came out that everybody has, which I think is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having one of those myself, but I don't. And so I like, once I got the orange track to go into the fat track, like I've done with the merge here, which I haven't finished it yet since the last time I talked to you, but I've got the plans down. And so I'll probably come up with a makeshift, you know, wall to, you know, keep the cars from flying off into the cactus onto the cursed earth of my yard. You know, with that evil quicksand that gets into your axles and wheels and ruins your cars. Yeah, so anyway, we'll see what happens. It should be fun. I don't know what kind of time I'm going to have tomorrow, but I might work on it tonight. I might just stay up and work on cars and screw around with the track and the merge. So, I just realized something. I'm going to show you some stuff I just got. I've been working on, you know, having a police presence on my track. And this is some diorama. It's a Ford Bronco. It's a Hot Wheel. Car culture setup. I mean, this is cool. I mean, this is what, if you don't live in California, this is what the highway patrols sneak up on you with. You look in your rearview, oh, look at that. That's a pretty good looking Bronco. Oh, crap. It's a highway patrol. You know, they don't use these anymore. Now I think they're using Chevys. I don't know. I haven't been out to be pulled over in a while, so I don't know. But that's going to be cool. And you saw this tow truck. This will be one of my tow rigs. And then I picked this guy up, Johnny Lightning. He's essentially the same thing as the last tow truck I showed you. This one's not a roller though, but I don't care. He's just going to be diorama, and I might do so many crashes. I might set this up eventually when I have time. And then, oops, I picked up a couple Camaro Higher Patrols. These are cool. Of course, the stupid things have rubber wheels, so I have to wheel swap them. So, James's car, the Charger, the Confessor. Yeah, the fast one that I put in the very back and make him fight through the crowd of non-tired cop cars as he blows through. If you notice, if you've seen in my videos, that car will go all the way from the back, blow through traffic. Looks like the freaking Terminator went through there. Blows all the little lightweight cop cars up. It makes it to the end to try to ride up his criminal that he's chasing, i.e. Casey and Kiwi Mike. But yeah, these are gonna be cool. So I'm gonna mod these up. Hopefully they'll be good interceptors as well. I got 2 of these. And in the mail today, yep, found another one. 2004 Pontiac GTO. Yep, an import from Australia to America to wear the GTO badge. It's one of the best GTOs ever made. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I got this guy. He's the same casting as the 2 cars I sent down to Hot Car Track. Those the Yellow Devils, the convention cars. And those things are cool. I mean, they just belong in Australia. They belong down there. I mean, my opinion, that's like you guys are deprived of your favorite car, and it's not my fault, but it makes me feel bad. So I've been, trying to get them down to you as best I can. So, you should be able to field a Holden tournament, as it is, down there. But yeah, that's going to happen. We're going to have enough cars for that. We've got enough Holdens together between all of us. But this is pretty cool. I'm going to crack him open, I think. It's a roller for sure. Did my research. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's a roller. And then, you guys seen this guy. He's not coming out of the package. This is for my... Oh, wait, there's crap. Is that shit right there? Ooh, water damage. I don't want to have to... Oh, man, I don't want to open this one. He's staying in the package for a while. I already got one modded with faster over wheels. You guys seen that. I always have KC drive that one because he just seems to drive that one well. And this guy showed up today as well. Another Herbie the Love Bug. Fully loaded. 2004. And these are fast. Yeah, a couple of these went down to Australia. Yep. Hot Car Track, and one of our other buddies got one in his package that he got for me.